Okay, back in the game again. Except, yeah, we need to read the book. The Curse of Chang'an by Kendrick Wells. The following pages I, Kendrick Wells, will attempt to explain in the plainest words possible the mystery surrounding Renford A. Terwilliger and his controversial work known as Horror Among the Dark Elves. Many of the stories I will present to you are both strange and frightening, but I give you my word as an author and a scholar that they are the truth. Decide yourself after the facts are presented whether or not you dare to believe them. Renford A. Terwilliger was born in 1750. His fabled trip to the Glimmering Forest was made in 1768, his 18th year. He was indeed, as per his book, accompanied by an elven tracker named Jaren Benal. Records housed within the Tarantian Zoological Society validate this fact. Mr. Benal was never heard from nor seen again after the expedition. As for Mr. Terwilliger's account of his adventures in the elven city of Quintara, or his supposed discovery of the mythical Chang'an, no one can be sure. Most scholars and collectors of literature assume that Mr. Terwilliger's book is a work of fiction, and as such, fantastical literature was all the rage at the time. I might be inclined to agree. Yet one must only look upon the events following the publication of Horror Among the Dark Elves to see that he very well may have found something deep within the glimmering that was never ever meant to be found. There were very few copies of the book ever published. The costs concerning the initial print run are scarce, but it is believed that no more than 100 were ever released to the public. 4 days after the book was shipped to Tarantian bookstores, the factory that printed it was burned to the ground. The owner, Mr. Jeremiah Gomes, was found in his home brutally murdered by an unknown assailant. The 4 bookstores that had purchased the volume for sale in turn suffered the same fate. Only 15 copies of the book were sold before the final store was destroyed. Those 15 copies became an immediate collector's item. Enormous sums of money were paid for the remaining volumes. After a few months the books had fallen into various respected collections across Arcanum. Each and every one of the owners of the books began to complain of strange happenings once the book was in their possession. All of them told of frightening noises and visions, shadowy figures following them wherever they went, unexplained illnesses and untimely deaths. Many attributed this to paranoia, a trite brand of sensationalism to create an even greater demand for the book. Unfortunately, their fears were all too justified. All of them were dead within 5 years of the initial publication. Their volumes either stolen, burned, or disfigured beyond recognition. Indeed, they had suffered what came to be known as the Curse of Chang'an. Mr. Terwilliger, strangely enough, lived a relatively long life, cursed in his own way to witness the evil fruits of his labor. He saw himself as the cause of these horrors, and wrote extensively of it within his memoirs. The following is an excerpt from them, only days before he died in his sleep. I will never forgive myself for what I have unleashed upon the world. Had I the courage, I would travel again to the Glimmering and unleash holy vengeance upon those evil creatures that have plagued our fair land and its peoples. Alas, I no longer have the strength nor the power, and now there is only my own end that I pray for every day. Until just a few short months ago, it was thought that there were no remaining copies of Horror Among the Dark Elves. After an exhaustive investigation, I have found that this is not at all the case. The last known copy of the book, owned by the famed book collector Mr. Philip Misk, was thought to have perished with its owner in a fire almost 50 years ago. Now, with new evidence presented by a reliable source, I have discovered that Mr. Misk's son, Victor Misk of Caledon, still has the copy in his possession and is hiding it for fear that the curse will again visit his family. I pray that the evil let loose in the Glimmering has finally been put to rest, and I pray Mr. Misk and his family avoid the fate that has befallen every other soul who has challenged the curse of Chang'an. Okay. So, we need to get to Caledon. Um, I will keep the book for now. All roads lead to Caledon. Are there any magic shops near here? I think there are. Not any good ones anyway. Okay. What's going on here? That totalitarian Captain Wheeler has some noble orcs who are striking for their rights trapped inside this factory. Captain Wheeler, what can you tell me of him? He's the captain of the Tarantian Guard. He believes the orcs aren't fit to live, let alone have any rights. That's what all this is about. All the orcs want is the right to unionize. I'm trying to keep this from deteriorating into what happened last time. What was that? It was a massacre. Captain Wheeler mowed the protesters down with a mechanized gun. It was horrible. I suppose that is why they chose to hold up inside factory this time instead of protesting in the open. For Wheeler to get inside, he'd have to sacrifice some men. That would look bad for him. What happened to Wheeler after he killed the protesters? Nothing. The council actually wanted to give him a medal. Yes, that's shocking. Yes, it is, and what is more, I feel it is directly responsible for the situation that has arisen here today. Why is that? The orcs feel that they have to do things like this to draw attention to their plight. They feel they cannot effect any change through political ends when they are seen as expendable beasts. It is all the more the pity, as Mr. Trog could be just the man we are looking for. Don Throg is the leader of the orcs. Because he has human blood, we can make a case for his rights to unionize before the council. There was never been a case to determine the rights of an half-orc under the law. If an half-orc can pass for human, they usually keep their heads down, so that others don't think of them as orcs, and if they look like orcs, well... I see, so Mr. Throg appears to be human. He's unique in that his features have a distinctive orcish cast to them, but instead of making him look the dumb brute, it actually gives him somewhat the appearance of a swarty rogue, and I've never met an half-orc with the charisma he has, or near anyone else for that matter. So, what can be done to defuse the situation? Nothing, I'm afraid. It seems Mr. Throg has reached the end of his days. I suppose I'll on my way. I've no time to talk. We've a problem on our hands. Labor agitators, you understand. What do they want? The orcs are striking for a union again. Won't they ever learn? But that's no excuse for lacking in mouth manners now, is it? I'm Captain Wheeler of the Trenching Guard. A million. May I ask what you intend to do here? If I were certain it were possible to do so without the loss of any of my men, I'd raid the factory and kill them all. Damned orcs! What's the situation here exactly? The orcs have taken over the factory and they say won't leave until they are allowed to unionize. It's their damned leader, Don Throg. That's the real problem here. Most of these orcs know what their place is and act accordingly, but Throg gets them all riled up. He's too smart for his own good. It's the human blood that has made him this difficult, ironically. Half-orc? Yes, and instead of being part of society as his blood would allow, he has taken it upon himself to be the champion of the orcs. He lives with them, works with them, and basically refuses to be treated as anything but a full-blooded orc. We need to rid society of his kind, for the good of everyone. So, what can be done to end this? Without endangering my men, the only thing to do is to starve them out. Perhaps I can help. Do you propose? Any suggestions? Unless you want to walk in there and kill him for me, I can think that would convincing him to surrender be a better option. Of course, but I don't think he'll listen. That's why we keep having these problems. He won't listen to reason. Someone really should put a bullet. But I digress. If you're willing to try to talk to him, it might be worth a try. Do you know anything that might help me convince him? I don't know, he's that distrustful of me, as there was an incident the last time these beasts rioted. We were forced to gun them down to protect the citizens of Tarrant. As if you were to let him know that members of the press were out here. Yes, he could speak to them when he surrenders, that might convince him. Are there members of the press out here? Oh, yes, of course. If you can get him to surrender and convince him to come outside peacefully, we can end this standoff peacefully. He hands you a key. They've locked themselves in, but the owner gave us the key to the front door to lock. Okay, there aren't any members of the press here. Maybe we should get them. That might be the only thing that prevents the guards from acting too violently. And it'll probably get him to come out too. Transient editorial office. Okay, we got a total crap job. Mr. Wright, editor of the Tarantine, would like you to deliver a payment note to Mrs. Holster, who lives in the corner of Devonshire and Vermilion. So, nothing to do with the labor disputes. Franklin residence. Holster residence. Mrs. Holster? Yes? Mr. Wright sent me. Mr. Wright, oh yes, the payment, do you have the note? Yes, here you are. She examines the note. Yes, everything seems to be in order. Here's a little something for your trouble, miss. Thank you, ma'am. And out the window. That's classy. I'm guessing we have to talk to all the labor dispute participants. I'm not sure. I can see that we can get the Orc out quite easily. Saves the press. He'll probably come to make a speech. But we need the actual press there, or he'll just be slaughtered. I delivered the note. Yeah, we can. Why are you going out the windows? I guess that doesn't really matter. I'm just wondering because when I sometimes try to get in the windows, she refuses to go out and goes the long way around from outside the door. But when I don't want her to do it, she uses the windows for some reason. I just like to know what's the thing that triggers the behavior. Are you certain there's nothing that can be done to help here? I'm going to convince him to surrender. Even if you were able to convince him, will not let him leave the building alive, as I've already told you. So I know. Who are you? What you doing here? Wheeler send you? Speak or I kill you. I'm here to speak with Mr. Throg to help you. Yeah, they're no match for the city guard. This dark, brooding figure slowly turns to face you. His brutish features somehow accentuate his noble stature rather than detract from it, as one would expect. So, they have finally sent someone to kill me, have they? I'm here to join your cause. What? I meant to plead that you want to throw in the orcs. Your plight speaks to me. It speaks to you? What does it say? That we are fighting a hopeless battle, and that we will never be treated with respect. No one voluntarily joins with orcs. Convince you to surrender. Surrender? Deliver my fate into the hands of those narrow-minded professors? Not likely. Were I to survive the experience, which I doubt, it would do nothing to change the plight of my brothers. He must be heard. What about the crowd? Wheeler, of course he would, and the papers would congratulate him for removing a threat to society. They love to build up villains and heroes regardless of what the truth may be. Wheeler's suggestion. Are you really that naive? This is all a setup to lure me outside. Fresh or no fresh, Wheeler is planning to killing me. He moves towards you menacingly. The only question I have is whether you come in here to set me up knowingly. I'm simply trying to help. Then be off with you. Tell Wheeler I'm not coming out. He'll have to come in and get me. And he will die in the attempt. I'll deliver your message. I don't... Maybe you need a lot better stats. I'm certainly not going to be able to convince anyone. Yeah. Goodbye. Yeah, I can't tell him that. We can't tell him anything. We could probably convince them to talk to the journalists, but perhaps not anymore. But initially. Quite sure how to get to Caladan though. Thriving Feudal Kingdom, there it is. It just magically appeared into my map. What? I'm not trying to heal him, I tried to teleport, but apparently I can't. You need to see the area. So it won't work to even get the items between the enclosed walls that we found a couple of times. You have to have a line of sight, and we don't. Spotter. Yeah, we'll go to Caladan. There's a way to get over this river too. but you'll have to find it. And suddenly we're in Caledon. Okay, that's the city, outlying farms. I'm inclined to go to the city first. I want to see if I can get some equipment for Mr. Smythe. Kingsway, some kind of inn. The Mushroom Inn. It's a odd name. The Toadstool. Fine armors. With a Y. Yeah, we can't do business here. What about him? Enchanted smithery. Ah, 2 shopkeepers. Yeah, nothing of interest. Nothing. Could get him a helm of light, but a glimmering helm would be a much better item for him. Yeah, rings and amulets. No. No. Anything else of interest? Yeah, this I use. See, another one of these. Let's try to find the guy with the book. Greetings, madam. Might I be of service? Yes. Might I ask who you are? Of course, madam. I'm Wesley Carrington, the butler of the Misk Castle. Yeah, this is exactly where we want to go. Where can I find Mr. Victor Misk? His face grows pale. You haven't heard? Oh, I see. Perhaps you ought to speak with Mrs. Misk. She's in the parlor, madam. I'll do that. Thank you, Wesley. Okay, there's a half-orc villager there. Why? Hello, madam. How might I help you? Who are you? Yes, I am Brenda, the maid. She seems to struggle with her words. She has a thick orcish accent. Might I ask you a question? Certainly, madam. Where can I find Mr. Victor Misk? She seems to cringe at the question. Oh, you no talk to me about that. Perhaps you find Mrs. Misk. She, on the other hand, she is in the other room. And she's very, very nervous about something. I'll have to talk to her. The youngish woman before you is dressed in a dark blue gown with a small hat and veil. She is strikingly beautiful. Her hair is a deep shade of amber, her eyes ice blue, but a little swollen and red. You surmise she's been crying. I'm Lillian Misk, wife of the late Victor Misk. The late Mr. Misk? He's dead? Yes, he just recently passed. We put him in the ground not 4 days ago. I'm very sorry for your loss, madam. Have you a moment? I'd like to ask a few questions about Victor. What happened to him? He drowned. They found him down in by the docks, washed up by on the shore. We hadn't seen him for days, but he had been that way for the past few months. What do you mean that way? Victor became unbalanced in the last few months of his life. He began having delusions, frequent anxiety attacks, ever since they released that cursed book. You mean The Curse of Chang'an by Kendrick Wales? Yes, once the book was released here in Callan, he became convinced he was going to be the next victim of that so-called curse. I tried to comfort him, to tell him it was all an author's conjecture, but he just wouldn't listen. He would say, they got my old dad, and now they're coming for me. Where was the funeral? The Callan Cemetery. It's northwest of here near the Panari Temple. Oh shit, I've totally forgotten about that Panari Temple. Anyone strange at the funeral? Not that I remember. There were a few of our friends, and the servants, and some family. Yeah, what about the book? What would you like to know about the book? How did it get out that Victor still owned a copy? Anger in his eyes. I don't know. We had kept it secret for so very long. Only Victor and I knew, as well as some of our servants, but none of them would ever had said anything. They're like family to us, and we've always treated them so well. As Mr. Wales paid one of them a hefty sum for the information. Yes, I know, and we did ask all of them, but all of them denied any complicity in the matter. I trust them all. Besides, I've no proof to the contrary. I suppose I'd be grateful if someone were to look into the matter. Yeah, I'd be honored to offer my services. Any help would be appreciated. The servants are around the house. Feel free to speak with them. Yeah, questions about the book. Do you still have a copy of it? No, up until the last 2 weeks. Victor carried it on his person all the time. Then one day he came home and told us he had hidden it somewhere that only he and his old dad would know. We all thought it very strange, but by then there wasn't much about Victor that wasn't. Yeah. It has to be the maid. She's so shook up. I have some questions about the curse of Chang'an. She seems very nervous. Why do you ask about that bad book? That bad book drive Mr. Misk to his death. I don't want to talk about it. I'm investigating the matter for Mrs. Misk. What do you want to know, Matt? Do you know how Mr. Wales found out that Mr. Misk had the book? No, She looks around, frightened. I know nothing about that. I mean, I love Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I never do anything to hurt them. She seems flustered, unable to find words. Seem awfully defensive about it, Brenda. She looks back and forth, stammering. No, I know. I already talked to the police. I never heard. Anger flashes in her eyes. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk about it. I'm sure we'll be seeing another game, Brenda. Yes, Brenda? Can't talk to the police. I have some questions about the book of Mr. Wales. You mean the Curse of Chang'an? That rubbish? I'm surprised you'd have the audacity to mention the name of it in this house, madam, especially knowing what it did to Mr. Misk. Looking further into the matter for Mrs. Misk. Are you insinuating that I might have something to do with that, madam? I didn't say that, Wesley. Perhaps you might be able to help me. Good, good. I've been a loyal servant to the Misks for many years. I'd hate to think that Mrs. Misk didn't trust me any longer. Is there anything that you might be able to help? He looks around, lowering his voice. I'm not one to talk bad about people. If you're looking for a place to begin your search, I'd go no further than Brindle Maid. She may not look it, but she's a half-orc. You just never know. Interesting theory. Anything else? No, it just infuriates me that someone would betray Mrs. Misk. Hope you find out who the responsible party. It's just a window. She doesn't want to talk. It's no surprise. Guess we could. Is there a police station somewhere? I guess we could do one thing. Take a look at his body. He was buried here, just a... yeah, freshly filled grave. Yes, but we don't have a shovel. Greetings, dwarf. Who may I ask you are? I'm Bingham Schulfest, the gravekeeper for this cemetery. How can I help you? Bingham Schulfest? That doesn't sound like a dwarven name. It's not. You see, I grew up in Caledon. Although I do have a true dwarven name, my family doesn't care at all for ancient dwarven history. We're city dwarves and proud of it. The family name was changed generations ago. Okay. I've spoken with the wife of Victor Miss. Yes, and such a sad story that one is, eh? We buried him not 4 days ago. Can you show me where he's buried? Surely it's the last grave on the third row of... Has to be this. Yeah, we need a shovel. Need to get rid of the guards too. I need your help in digging up old Victor Misk. I wish I could tell you, Bingham. Trust me, it's important. I'm sorry, my friend, that this is my job we're talking about here. What's going on? What do you... It's a long story, we'll have to... I see. So you've got to find the book so you can find some dark elves. It's quite a tale, and all because you have to survive the blimp crash I read about. Yes, out of the frying pan and into the fire. Okay. We'll avoid him. He initiated the attack. Shit. I have no idea what's going on here. Wonder what he tried to do, though. Ah, he's blinding them. Attack then. I'll try to keep people in good fighting health. Why were they guarding here? Lock in hand. Ah. We can't loot him while in combat. Yeah, I'm not sure if everything is hostile to us now. I'm not going to save until we make sure we can safely travel to the sea. Let's get out of here. Luckily, no. I'm still going to initially save somewhere, just in case. The binding of this book is obviously a fake. Purchased at the Rosenborough gift shop. Okay. Rosenborough. Nice Rosenborough. We had the... yeah. Matchbook from the Rosenborough Inn was... it was the beardless dwarf at the opening cutscene also had been in Rosenborough. Everything points there, but where is Rosenborough? A picture missed. I may have somehow to find the location. Maybe I could talk to the wife. What do you know of about Roseborough or its gift shop? Roseborough? I've only been there once. Victor and I travelled there once to visit the grave of his father. I've never been there since. More down, rather bored. Yeah, I'll show where it is. Okay. So, progress. We'll have to do a run around Caledon sometime later. I want to try to get a bottom of this book thing while we're at it, instead of getting sidetracked. We'll have to visit the Dark Elf City anyway once we locate it. Oh crap. What the hell is that? Control. It's killing bunnies. It's not hostile towards us. Really, it's losing against the bunny rabbit. That's fantastic. Cynthia Witt. Well, I'm David Witt, owner of this farm. I don't actually grow anything, this is a fur farm. I raise rabbits. My furs are considered the softest, finest quality pelts in all the land. Find all my products in all sorts of finery. Do you dream of a lady's ball gown? lining the inside of a gentleman's winter coat, even swaddling the newly born nobility. Ever do you get many protesters? I know just how to deal with them damn hoity-toity types. Pats pistol holsters at his hip. Oh my. What's been happening here at the farm? Something very strange has been happening lately. Every night, one of my rabbits is killed and partially devoured. The signs indicate a large beast of some sort, but no one else in the area is being bothered or has seen anything strange. You're available. I'd really appreciate some help figuring it out. Yeah, you know it's a female lycanthrope because it's only a partially eaten rabbit. Don't want to get fat or anything. Okay, how long has this been going on? The killings have been happening for nearly a full lunar turn. If things keep up this rate, I'll be ruined within another 2. Rabbits breed quickly, but not that quickly. You live here alone? My daughter lives with me. You can talk to her if you'd like. She's been missing a lot of nights. Suspect she's sneaking out to see her betrothed. Betrothed. Ah, to be young again. Let me talk to her. Ask your name. Cynthia, can I help you with something? I'd like to talk to you about the rabbit's legs. Oh, it is awful. The poor things devoured at night by some horrible beast. You know it's a horrible beast. Well, I don't know for certain. It is just that I have these nightmares about it every night. I dream some horrific beast attacks and devours one of my rabbits, and every morning I awaken to find it is true. Please help us find what's going on. Have you seen anything, perhaps as you return from your tryst? Oh no, is that what father told you? I was seeing my betrothed for a time, but I haven't been so exhausted lately. I have not been awakening to make our rendezvous. Exhausted, but why? I'm very distressed by what is happening to my rabbit. As soon as the sun set, I come to my room and fall into such a sound sleep. I do not awaken until it's morning. I always awaken from the nightmare, and when I check on the rabbits, another has been killed. Very puzzling. No one has seen this beast. I have tried to stay awake and keep watch, but I have been unable to. I pray you are successful in solving the mystery. I don't want my father to lose the farm. Yeah. Too bad we saw her immediately. I haven't figured. Of course I have. Oh, for God's sakes. How dumb of a cow do you have to be to not see what's going on? It has to be another. If you don't do things exactly as the game tells you to, nothing will happen. That's horseshit. That is horseshit. If you don't want that to happen, then why do you have the werewolf appear before you get the quest? Now it feels like it's a sort of a. You feel you're very much taken out of the game because it's blatantly obvious what's going on here, but for some reason you can't say out the obvious with your character. That's quite a long ways. What the hell is that? Where's the inn? That's where we're really interested in finding. Let's take a look around. I'm captain of the Roseboro Guard. What can I help you with? I think at the moment. Want to find the inn. Yeah, I don't want to get sidetracked not now. So what's the inn? Doesn't appear to be. There should be a. Could be this. Yeah, it's a small village. It won't take us too long to go check all the houses. Gift shop. Shall we barter? So what is this place all about? The Ring of Brodgar? Surely you must have heard about the banishment of evil Aranax. Long ago, in the Age of Legend, the evil wizard came to power. His name was Aranax. In his twisted reasoning, he believed that elves were of a higher order than all other races, and he sought to make them his slaves. Aranax accumulated many elven followers and appeared as if he would succeed in ruling the races, until the great mage Nasruddin appeared. Nasruddin became the savior of the lesser races, opposing Aranax and his evil tyranny. Great mages of all chose sides, and they and their armies fought an epic battle, right where we are standing now, and it died that day. As the battlefield neared its end, powerful Nasruddin called upon all of the powers within him and opened a huge rift into which the evil Aranax was cast, banishing forever from our land. So powerful was the magic that Nasruddin cast that day that it took the remaining great mages to seal the great rift. The Ring of Brodgar is what they created that great day long ago, when the rift was sealed and the land was freed from Aranax and his evil. Tell me about Victor Misk. He's been a popular man as of late, an object of value. This is a normal shop. So this is where the portal was to the void. This is where the dwarf came from, and where Victor also came through here. So I'm guessing we need to dig up his father, if nothing else comes our way. Great thing to have a signpost that doesn't actually show you a way anywhere. It's not. This isn't an inn. What can you tell me about Victor Misk? He doesn't know anything. I'll ask about rumors. I heard an old merchant in the tavern the other night. He was talking about a strange lagoon he's seen on his way down from the Glimmering. It's directly north of here, along the coast. Not that I'd go anywhere near it, mind you. Okay, another location. Where's the actual inn? On the gift shop. Is it this? No. Is it the huge, massive building then? It looks like a castle. So I sort of yeah. I assume has to be some kind of castle, but it might be the inn we're looking for. It was too obvious, I didn't even think about that. It wouldn't be a castle in a small city like this. They just used the same model to get an inn. Yeah. Silly me. Could you answer some questions for me about this matchbook? Matchbook? Yes, this is one of our matchbooks. What question do you have about it? I found it on a dead man, the IFS Zephyr crashed. Do you know him? No, I did not know anyone. Wait. Yes, there was one person who it could have been. Who? Well, it is the strangest tale, really. Late one night I noticed all manner of strange lights and sounds emanating from the ring. Not long after the ruckus had ceased, a haggard and dishevelled man arrived here, inquiring about a room for the night. The poor fellow looked quite affrighted. Yeah, really, what was so strange about him? He had quite an old look about him, gaunt, clean-shaven, but with the feature of clothing of a dwarf. Yet he could not possibly have been a dwarf. No dwarf I have ever heard of would sacrifice his beard to the knife. Even today I cannot say I truly knew his race. Is there anything else? He had no coin about him. I was about to turn him away when he offered me an exceptionally fine dwarven blade as compensation. A beautiful piece it was, inscribed with the initials BMC. It fetched quite a price when I sold it. Did he say anything to you? The only other inquiry he made of me was for the quickest route to Charon. I told him that this was normally a lengthy journey, but he was in luck. The maiden voyage of the IFS Zephyr would be leaving from Caledon shortly. It was surely to be the quickest way to Charon. It was not luck that brought people aboard that doomed ship. Yes, the Zephyr was such an incredible tragedy. Oh yes, I let him know that he would need proper identification to board. He looked the type to be lacking such, so I referred him to a man I had heard of in Caledon, Mr. Razia. A little shady character, but helpful when it came to passports. So, let's conjugate on the Zephyr, are you positive? He thanked me and went to his room. When I woke up next morning he was gone. He did not say a word, just left. Oh well, I told you he was a strange one. Anyway, that was the only person I know that would have been on that accursed flight. No questions. How about Victor Misk? Name sounds familiar, some connection with the book. Doesn't... Let's take another look at the book. What is it at the Roseburg gift shop? We're digging up his father. And that's all there is to it. There's two graves that have been recently dug up. One of them is his father's, and we know exactly that that's what we are meant to do. He died a long time ago. No, you don't see his grave. Philip Misk. And there it is, saying Arcanum of the Dark Elves. Okay, I dedicate this to my dearest Raven. I would gladly face again those horrors of thousands others for only another moment with you. Oh, for... Come on, game. Come on, game. Yeah, I'll read this and that'll be the end of this video. Dearest reader, it is only with the greatest fear and trepidation that I share this harrowing tale with you today. Even here, safe within the confines of my own home, I'm still overcome with dread at the thought of what I'm about to tell you, and what it might mean for me or those close to me. Yet, I feel compelled to do so, and the great muse guides my pen to this paper, and the words flow forth from the darkest regions of my heart and mind, where they have stayed well hidden until this very evening. I beg of you, give ear to my confession, and if it please you, take this tale from me and return only your belief and trust that what you are about to hear is only and nothing but the truth. My name is Renfold A. Terwilliger, born of the outlying regions of Ashbury, not far from the lair of Bellerogrim, where they found the bones of the great dragon. My childhood was a bright one, full of happiness and light, and my parents gave to me all that a child might need. I was schooled both practically and excellently, and when my 18th year came around, I was accepted into Tarrant University and ultimately found my way into the Tarrantshire Zoological Society. Archaeology, archaeology was my first love, but my first assignment with the society was with the cultural anthropology department. It was somewhat of a farce, actually, but the society had been given an enormous grant by one of Saran's leading philanthropists for a very specific purpose. That purpose was to confirm the existence of the Dark Elves. Every man, woman, and child in Arcanum has been raised on ghost stories and bedtime tales of these strange people known only as the Dark Elves. To the anthropologists, they are a proverbial oasis in the desert. Proof of their existence has always literally disappeared into the air. No man had ever set eyes upon them, and not one shred of physical evidence had ever been found to establish that they were real. Myths and legends were plentiful, but for the itinerant scientist these mean less than nothing. What was needed was undeniable evidence, and I set out on this adventure with determination and confidence in my ability to bring forth just that. Had I known what lay ahead, I would have forsworn both anthropology and philanthropy, and returned to work as a day labourer in the Ashbury shipyards. Better the back-breaking work than the nightmares I face every night. Before leaving Tarrant, I employed the services of a certain Jarian Benal, an elven tracker who was recommended to me by the noble Mr. Quentin Payne, famed explorer and gentleman in every sense of the word. Jarian Benal had been born in the Glimmering Forest, and it was said there wasn't a more knowledgeable man about the deep elves' groves this side of the Stonewall Mountains. His fees were a little less than reasonable, but I had been given enormous liberty in spending the allotted funds, and it was my honest opinion that Mr. Benal was crucial to the success of the mission. I couldn't have been more correct. Within weeks we were well within the deepest and yet uncharted regions of the western glimmering, and never once did the unflappable Mr. Benal look to his compass or consult a map. Occasionally he would stand for a moment within a clearing or beneath a great tree, head cocked, eyes closed, but aside from these infrequent moments of meditation, it was all we would do to keep up with him. For the second day of our journey, we came to a great meadow, seemingly alive with the multitude of birds and butterflies that flew above it. Crossing this fragrant and lovely field was one of the most vivid moments I'd ever experienced on the journey so far, and I was so enthralled by the scene around me I almost missed the most spectacular vision given to the eyes of mortal man. Vintara, the great elven tree city, lay within the towering trees at the end of the clearing, hanging like a cut jewel in the crown of a king. The mother tree, almost 400 feet tall, housed the intricately carved Hall of Truth, which shone white and smooth in the noonday sun. Impossibly thin walkways wove in and out of the boughs of the great tree, not taking away from its natural beauty, but adding to it, as if the city were merely a convenient and a beautiful tangle of leaves and branches, tattooed with the flowing runes and symbols in the ancient elven tongue. And among these the graceful and lithe form of the elves, singing their beautiful songs and looking down upon the ragtag group of men with curiosity and amusement. Of Quintara I can say only this: the month I spent there was the best of my entire life. I learned much less about the Dark Elves than I would have liked, almost nothing at all really, but the moments I spent there were strange and wonderful and breathtaking. I will not do them a disservice by attempting to put them into words. Suffice it to say that I learned there was a young man that what often takes others a lifetime, and to my teacher I give heartfelt thanks and the warmest greetings. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think of you. We left the trees of Quintara with little more than faint whispers about the Dark Elves, and where they might be found. The elves of Quintara were truly reluctant to speak of them, and they begged us to forget such foolishness and to go home to Tehran. I of course would hear no such talk, and we travelled on, north this time, as Mr. Benile believed he had uncovered a clue as to their whereabouts during his investigations while in Kintara, and he had discovered a name, Chang'an, the home of the Dark Elves. We travelled for 17 more days, exhausting our supplies and sending most of the party back to Tehran. The forest had become thicker and more brambly, and it seemed that many of the trees were adorned with thorns, some more than a foot long. Another week, and it was only Mr. Benile and myself. We had agreed to return before the first of the month if we failed to find any further evidence of the Dark Elf's existence. It gave us 6 days to find Chang'an, and we pressed on despite our anxiety and fatigue. The day before we had planned to return, the weather took a vicious turn. From out the north came dark thunderheads, and lightning flew down from the sky like barbed lances of white fire. It began to rain, and we found an uneasy shelter beneath the massive roots of one of the great trees, which seemed poised over us like a giant and grotesque gnarled hand. I was shivering, not altogether from the cold and rain. Weird shadows played against the trunks of trees as the storm strengthened and the lightning became more frequent. Thunder tore the sky above our heads. I looked at Mr. Benal, and for the first time since we left Tehran, I saw fear reflected in his eyes. I can't say when I first became aware of them, but one moment, while looking out through the rain, I began to notice shadows that stayed even after the lightning had subsided. Those shadows became phantoms, the phantoms something worse. They were stark still, tall and wiry, ghostly faces of the color of ivory with eyes of blackest night. Their hair hung in limp strands against their foreheads and cheeks. They stood unblinking, oblivious to the storms and its ragings. Benal screamed something to my right, and then was pulled bodily from our shelter to the roots above. He screamed once more, and then was silent. I never heard from nor saw him again. I ran headlong past the elves in front of me, swinging blindly to clear the path. I was mad with fear, and my feet carried me deeper into the forest. I thought I heard dark and twisted laughter above and behind me, and shadowy figures darted among the trees to my left and right. Thorns torn at my arms and legs, and I stumbled among the stones and the underbrush, screaming incoherently. More than once great elven arrows sunk into the trees around me, grazing my skin as they flew by. They were playing with me, enjoying the hunt, waiting for just the right moment. My head was light with exhaustion, blood loss, and I fell to my knees, gasping for air. When I looked up, I saw it. There in the trees above me was Sengan, the home of the Dark Elves. Unlike Wintara, Sengan was an abomination, slouched in the branches like a great beast waiting for its prey. There were sputtering fires all along its battlements, and great spikes protruding from every surface like dragon spines, and I saw robed figures, gaunt and terrible, lying along its walkways and looking down upon me, beckoning, it seemed, for me to join them. I screamed again, and the figures seemed to raise their voice in unison, a terrible call without sound and meaning, but I heard them nonetheless. They were cursing me. They were welcoming me. In moments I was surrounded again by my pursuers. Through the downpour I saw them unsheath daggers, their ghastly smiles floating towards me as the thunder roared above. I closed my eyes, praying to whatever god would hear me. There was nothing else I could do. And then, from nowhere, arrows were flying from behind me and above me. In moments I was encircled completely with the half-buried shafts of the thickest hunting arrows. The dark elves around me whirled to and fro in confusion. One pulled his bow from his back and shot an arrow in one flying, flowing movement, but was shot through the heart before he had raised it past his shoulder. He fell silently, unbelieving. The others looked at me for a moment, the purest hatred harbored in their eyes, and then disappeared in the night, hands conspicuously at their sides. Amazed and spent, I fainted. I awoke some days later, many miles from northern reaches of the Glimmering. I was alone, but my wounds had been treated, and my supplies had been replenished. I was back in Taran not 2 weeks later. Never met my rescuers, but I can guess who they were, where they were from, and I thank them if they were reading this. Without their aid, I surely would have died there in the shadow of Tsingang. And so, dear friend, I again beg of you to believe these words and the man who has told them to you, to do so only to share this burden with others, to gain comfort among those of my kind. At the very least, let these words stand as a warning to you. Often evil is a tangible thing, and sometimes it is a people and a place. Such are the Dark Elves, and such is the hell that is called their home. I've never returned to the Glimmering Forest, and pray that I never do. Some things are better left alone. And a nice tale. No new information, but better understanding of what had going on. And that's a good way to end.